Welcome to Latina Conference 2021, Connecting Latinas of Influence, a digital presentation of Hispanic lifestyle. We are proud to have the support of Wells Fargo Bank, Coca-Cola, Mr. Tortilla, Altura Credit Union, Univision Communications, and Inland Empire Health Plan. Our program and the complete listing of Hispanic Lifestyle 2021 Latinas of Influence can be found on our website, HispanicLifestyle.com. When you post on social media, please use the hashtag LatinaConference2021. I am Ana Vergara, a 2013 Latina of Influence honoree, and it's my pleasure to introduce the president of Hispanic Lifestyle, Richard Sandoval.
Thank you, Ana, for being the voice of Hispanic Lifestyle's Latina Conference for the last 6 years. For the second year in a row, due to the effects of COVID-19, we have been prevented from gathering in person. Hispanic Lifestyle believes we should continue to produce a conference that is both inspiring and acknowledges the achievements of Latina business owners, professionals, and community leaders. The theme of our conference is Connecting Latinas of Influence. We hope these stories will be inspiring and just the words you need to hear right now. Later in today's program, we add to Hispanic Lifestyle's list of Latinas of Influence, which has grown to 270 names. Hispanic Lifestyle would like to thank all of our sponsors for supporting our efforts to promote positive images of the community. Representing our presenting sponsor, Wells Fargo Bank, is Liliana Castaneda.
Thank you for taking time to join us today. Your participation makes it that much more certain that our Latino communities are indeed on paths to brighter futures. At Wells Fargo, I lead consumer banking teams across 15 branches in Los Angeles and Ventura counties. I saw firsthand last year how individuals and families struggled to navigate the unfair economic realities that the pandemic threw at our communities. I also saw firsthand how Latinas, moms, sisters, daughters, and friends demonstrate incredible leadership and strength and determination. Your actions last year kept hope alive, kept food on the table, and kept your loved ones safe and healthy. I'm especially proud of every single essential worker and small business owner that sacrificed and worked to keep our economy from collapsing. With help of nonprofits, community development financial institution, also known as CDFIS, and other community partners like Wells Fargo Foundation, Latino entrepreneurs were able to make adjustments to their business models and make investments that enable them to keep their business open and serve their communities. It takes determination, passion, and ganas to do this. As Latinos, tenemos ganas. In reviewing each of the profiles of today's Latinas of Influence honorees, a few words kept coming to mind: strength, positivity, and resilience. While these may not be traits that are unique to Latinas, I think we harness them the best. It is hopeful and refreshing to see a class of Latinas that are doing extraordinary things in their respective sectors and their communities. So in addition to congratulating each of your honorees for being 2021 Latinas of Influence, I want to personally thank you for being an inspiration for my 3 daughters, for Latinas across the country. You are each shining in examples of diversity that thrives within our Latino community. And your accomplishments showcase how Latinas are improving our communities and helping to move our country forward. I don't want to presume to know exactly how the pandemic affected everyone joining us today. Each one of our journeys are different. One thing we have in common, though, we're all here virtually together. To me, this shows that we have a deep vested interest in gaining knowledge, insights, and resources to move forward. We have some challenging times ahead of us as we navigate our way out of this pandemic and work harder to end racism and racial inequality. I hope today's speakers will provide you valuable insights to help everyone on their journey towards a brighter future, and that this year's class of honorees will inspire you to remember that a better, brighter future is always possible. Thank you.
Raíces means roots, but it also means heritage, culture. We are a minority-owned business. It's not easy for us to go into any industry, especially a brewing industry that's a large barrier to entry, and Wells Fargo opened the doors for us.
Jose had a dream. He knew what he wanted to do. He just needed some help putting things together. When we went out to visit, it was almost like an empty warehouse. So with SBA, we were able to help him completely redo the inside, and now it's an amazing, beautiful brewery.
Marty, thank you so much for agreeing to participate in our Latina Conference 2021. So I want to pick up on your industry, and that is, how did you cope during this shutdown, if you will, the COVID-19 pandemic?
You know what? Actually, I just kept working, and I just abided by all the rules of, of COVID. Wear your mask, sanitize, wear your booties, and people still wanted to see houses. So I just kept working, and I really, to be honest with you, I found that we probably are working more because we're working from home. So you get up and you're on the computer, you go to bed, you're on the computer. So I just, kept prospecting. And I think after the first month, I knew everything was going to be okay, because none of us were sure when it first happened. I remember we all went home on March 19th from the office and thinking, oh my God, what is going to happen now? Everything was, from home, paperless. And thank God we were prepared for that as well, because I know some people weren't. And then just kept showing property, answering the phone, prospecting, and assuring people that it was a good time to be selling real estate in spite of the pandemic. And now, we've all found that out. I think I would say August, it really took off. It really got crazy.
You've been in this business for a while. I mean, you've seen the ups and downs. I would like you to talk about how this experience was so much more different than other experiences. I know I've been fortunate to hear you share your story a few times, but again, talk about how this experience was so much different than past economic downturns, if you will.
And I've been through a couple of downturns, I've had the downturn of 1989, and then the market going down to 1997, and then coming back up to 2007, taking a downturn again to 2012. So I've been through a couple. What's different about this, in 2007, we were completely, totally set up for, failure. They were giving money away to people who couldn't qualify. Well, since then, everybody's been qualifying to be able to purchase, property. And I find what's going on today, what's different, is interest rates are so low and the buyers just want that home. They either want to fix it and make it right for them, or they want to move up, or they want to move down. But what's most important to them is that they can afford it. So with these low interest rates, it's about the affordability factor, not so much about the price. If they have to fight for the price, they're okay as long as they can afford the payment. So I think that's what we're seeing today.
I would like you to comment on an article I read in the newspaper, and I didn't realize this. Uh-huh. You and I happen to live outside of Los Angeles. I live even farther outside of Los Angeles, out here in Menifee. And that is, the people that were living and paying those rents and leases in downtown urban markets such as Los Angeles. I didn't realize that a lot of those people, after having experienced having to work and realizing that they could do it remotely, were now deciding that they wanted to live out where we are, where it is more affordable.
More affordable.
You get more bang for your buck. I don't know how much more affordable is, as much as it is more bang for your buck. Talk a little bit about that. Is that a trend that you're seeing, and is that going to continue to go forward?
Well, I think they're seeing it in downtown, because they said that, rents are going down in downtown. So yes, I see people moving out to the suburbs because it's more affordable. So those people are driving the prices up, because now you've got a competition of people from within and people for us from the West moving eastbound. So, they created a frenzy for, the purchase of property. And then we have the shortage of listings. So with the shortage of listings and so many buyers, it's driving prices up, and we're selling properties, over the asking price. But remember, for them, it's about affordability. So what they go, what if it goes down? I don't think they care, because even if the price went down a little bit, they can still afford the payment. As long as they can afford the payment is really all they're looking at. Now they're getting bigger yards, and the big hot ticket now are swimming pools. Oh my gosh, if you have a swimming pool, that's a hot ticket, where before it was a 50-50. But now people, they entertain at home, they stay home, they spend more time with families. So, and I think that's one good thing about COVID, is that we've been able to, I think, spend more time with family and, get to see each other more. So that's been a big plus. So there's been negatives and pluses about COVID.
I'd like you to talk a little bit more about your industry and the aspects of being a cheerleader. You're always positive. Every time I run into you, you're always positive. Even those people that don't work within your firm, what were you telling people in your industry about how to, what I like to phrase is picking up the pieces and moving forward?
I think what I was telling everybody is that, we all need to keep working and to keep, our businesses going, whether it's real estate, whether it's, other industries and the ones that got really hurt, were the people, in the restaurant industry. Those are the people that really got hurt. And, and I feel bad because, 25% of the people cannot afford to make their house payment, but yet real estate is on fire. But I think, the banks are working with these people because, they want to help them save their houses. So hopefully they're not going to lose their houses. They're, putting everything off for later. So hopefully by that time they're able to catch up, get the jobs that they need to continue to make the payments. And even if they have to sell, we're not going to have a foreclosure market. You know that, right? Because all these people, even if they had to sell, they have equity now. So, they'll be able to put their house on the market. The bank's not going to be taking that house back. So either way, I think that, they're going to be good. And like I said, I'm rooting for them to be able to keep their houses, because home ownership is the most important thing. We need stability, we need security, and every family needs that. I'm a big advocate of home ownership. And the only thing that's getting harder is for our first-time home buyers to get into, housing. They're having to go further east for affordability. But, being one of 11 kids and having a home, I can attest, the value of security, stability, and our parents owning that home with 11 kids and not being pushed around.
I could appreciate what you just said, especially about affordability, because I think as a father and a grandfather, and you start thinking about, I get excited when my property values go up, but the reality is, of being able to have your family members live right next door, it seems like that is moving farther away. Can you talk a little bit about your concerns? I know you're in the industry, but also your concerns about affordability, and give some perspective on how we can solve that affordability problem and still keep our families from not having to move 50, 75 miles away from us?
Well, I think that you probably have seen a lot of people moving out of state, but there's 10 people waiting in line to buy that house as well. So you do have people, retiring probably in other states where they can afford to retire. But then we still have our young kids here, or some of the kids have gone out and the parents have followed them, out to wherever they're going as well. Because at the end of the day, when the parents are older, they want to be near their kids. They want to be able to see their kids, see their grandkids. So I think, that's important too. So I know it's going to be hard for them probably to stay here, but if the kids have to go out, I find that also the parents will follow them out and, get closer to them if that works out for them. But again, but affordability is getting more difficult for first-time, home buyers, and they're having to go further eastbound. But as long as they keep the rates down, I think we'll be able to keep some of those kids a little bit closer to us. And it looks like the richer they're going to stay down. I would think for the next year at least.
I mean, this is just who would have thought, out of all the things that happened during this pandemic, that real estate, I mean, there had to have been a split second where you're thinking, oh no, again?
I sold real estate at 18, 19, 20% in 81, 82, 83. So for me, anything less than 12 was, was really exciting to see. And now when you're looking at, the rates now moving to the threes, it's still incredible and it's still affordable. So.
Well, you brought it up and I would like to talk about this, and that is your career in the real estate industry. What is it about it? Why have you stuck in it? At one point you mentioned that you have sold, or your firm has sold, over $1 billion worth of real estate. You can update me on that number as well.
Oh, I think we're probably close to like 5 billion, I believe. Yeah.
So talk a little bit about your 5 billion in sales. What is it about this industry that you love so much?
You know what? Since I was a little girl, I went to Catholic school. I was the best Christmas card seller. I was the best candy seller. So, I've always been selling something. And even if I find something that I really like, I can sell it, even though it's not something that I sell. If I believe in something, and I definitely, believe in the value of home ownership. So for me, I'm doing something I love. And look at it this way. I'm 70 years old, okay? And people are losing their jobs. Guess what? Nobody can fire me. Nobody can tell me how much money I'm going to make. I decide how much money I'm going to make. And my raise becomes effective when I become effective. So people ask me, how long are you going to do this? I go probably till I die. I go, because I'm fortunate. My husband worked construction, and it came to the point where I said, Ed, you don't have to do this anymore because your body can't take it. You can't take that many years of construction, in this real estate business. I can do this, and I can do this for many, many years. So I feel fortunate that I love it and I still want to do it, and I will keep doing it as long as I love it as much as I do. So, and I'm helping families. I'm helping, so many people in so many ways, not only just buying their homes. Sometimes, a lot of the young girls who have come to work for me, I get excited about them buying their homes. They're like my kids, and I want them to do well. I want them to, to grow in many ways, grow as an individual, grow their business, grow their real estate portfolio. So those are the things that I'm excited about, and that's why I don't want to quit. And every day is a new day in real estate. There's no 2 days alike, so it never gets boring. Always meeting new people, new friends, and helping people, putting things together. What I find is, with all my resources, all the people I know, I'm able to help people in so many ways, and not just real estate. Sometimes it might be about, a good doctor, a good, divorce attorney, a good trust attorney. And guiding them through the path to fixing some of their, problems. So I do so many things. It's so fun and so exciting. And I look forward to many more years of doing it.
Well, you gave me a little bit of it, but if you would, I'm going to give you the last word. So give me some selfish plugs, maybe some words of advice, but you have the last word, as you do on many occasions, Marty Rodriguez. Take it away.
Oh gosh, the last word. I don't like to be like selfish, because I'm a giver, and I'm a helper. But yeah, it's, God said it's okay for us to make money, and I like the fact that I can make money, so I'm able to help other people, in many other ways. I'm here in Glendora. My office is here. I've been doing this for 43 years. That's a long, long time. So, I've got the accumulation effect, a lot of information in this computer right here, that's going to, help people, help my family, help my friends. And, I'm here for you in Glendora, California.
For a mom, nothing's more important than her family. For a family, nothing's more important than mom. While mom takes care of her family, she still needs to take care of herself. Even when mom feels healthy, she should go to her doctor for an annual checkup so that any potential issues can be treated early on. IEHP has some clinics that have after hours and many female doctors to accommodate the busiest moms. Because what every family needs is a happy, healthy mom.
we're going to get right into this, Alex. Is it okay if I call you Alex, by the way?
Please do. Please do.
I really appreciate you taking some time and being part of our 2021 Latina conference.
Yay!
And Congratulations. You were a 2018 honoree. Thanks for coming back. So that was a couple of years ago. But I want to ask you how you are, and more importantly, talk about how you coped and adjusted with your career and all that was going on during 2020.
That's a big question. That's a lot of stuff. So which one do you want me to start with?
I want to talk about your family. How did you guys cope during the COVID-19, the stay-at-home orders? Talk a little bit about that.
We are homebodies to begin with. I stay at home all the time anyway, unless I have to go out, unless I have a premiere or I have a charity event or something. That's my go out time. And that's for my, I keep getting these messages, stop it. And that's for my fiance and I, that's our date night, which is, their work things. But I mean, when we came to you in 2018, that was our sort of date day, which is fine for me. I mean, with all the death and all the businesses going under, it was that part was awful. And I also lost my brother in August to COVID, but he had underlying problems, underlying issues a lot. I don't want to start on a negative note, but there is absolutely a silver lining. I mean, the fact that I got to be with my daughter all the time. And remote learning was challenging, but I'm considered, or I've been told that I'm a helicopter mom. So now I get to give her snacks, make sure she's okay, give her a big lunch, make sure she eats it, make sure she runs around at recess and gets some exercise, because at school, she won't even eat her lunch. She comes home and her lunch is not even touched because she's just sitting and talking with her friends the whole time. So she didn't eat, she didn't get any exercise, and she, which was always like, but it was tough because I was so anal about germs, and I was wearing a mask and gloves to the grocery store. When we came home, I deconned everything. I washed everything down for the first, for 6 months at least. So that was, it was that extra step. It was that extra bit of work, physical activity that you had to do, because we weren't getting any physical activity sitting at home and eating and drinking too much. So there was that, but like I said, I like to stay home, and it's what we do most of the time anyway. I cook a lot, I bake, we hang out, we do arts and crafts. My daughter's an arts and craftsy person. And so, that's what.
So there wasn't a big change, and I'm sorry to hear about your brother. My God.
Thank you very much.
But again, talking a little bit about adjusting, you're a working actress. I mean,
yeah, but Richard, you have to understand, nobody in the first 6 months, nobody was working.
Well, that's what I was going to say. First of all, being a working actress, and I do like to ask this question: when did this really become real for you, in the sense of career-wise, that everything was stopping? When did the light go on and said, "Oh, I need to adjust, what it is I plan to do for the rest of the year"?
I think I was just so in shock, like a lot of people, about having to completely stop our lives, that wasn't even on my mind. I wasn't working, but neither was anyone else. It wasn't like, I was being left out. It's like nothing was happening. And it was such a blessing in a weird way to take a step back, because we are so crazed in this world. There's just so much going on, and somehow we just want to do more. And to drive around and there's no one on the road and everyone's staying home and everyone has to stop for about a minute. I thought that part was wonderful. I thought it was great. But then, you know, you got to pay bills. And I had friends who lost houses. And, you know, you got to cut back, and, you know, people were losing their businesses left, right, and center. And that's when everything really just came down hard on me, when my personal friends lost their house, you know. So I would say that was after about 6 months or so, but I will also say that I kind of did a commercial in June, and I don't know if we were supposed to or not, but you know, everyone had masks, everyone was being tested every day. And my career has been so like up and down, like gangbusters for a while, and then for a while nothing happens, and then gangbusters for a while, and then, you know, you kind of do a little bit of this and a guest star or something like that. And then when my daughter came into my life, I actually retired for 3 years. So I was lucky enough where I was able to do that. My agent at the time dropped me, but that was okay. I got another agent in a few years. But, you know, my career has taken on so many different faces, and it's gone through so many different stages. And it's just, for me, it's just about a part of growth. It's a part of, it's change. You can't stop change. You know, when I was in my 20s, I just wanted to book a job. I just wanted to be wildly famous and rich, and that was it. And then when I was in my 30s, I just wanted to do great work. And I'm still like that. I just want to do great work. But more importantly for me, I want to take parts that mean something and that show Latinos in a positive light. And a few years ago, I started producing, and now I have a few things in production, and everything that is in production shows Latinos in a positive light, and everything I do shows that as well. I just came off a movie, Wall of Mexico, that was on demand in October and November, and it was about a very wealthy, very well-educated, beautiful Mexican family that never ages. I don't know if you watched it or not. Did you watch it, Richard?
You know what? I have not watched it, but I would have to believe you would be cast in that perfect role, because you don't age at all. So we'll talk a little bit about skin care and all that if you want to, but I will watch it. What was the name of it again?
Wall of Mexico. It's with me. It's Isai Morales. Jackson Rathbone is in it. Andrew Berkeley. It's a very good cast. Very good cast. So, you know, when I read that, I said, I want to do this. I want to show this family in this light. And right now I am on Walker. It's the reboot of the Walker Texas Ranger, and it's on the CW. And I play Mickey Ramirez's mother, Lindsay Morgan's mother. And I play Dr. Ramirez, and Dr. Ramirez is a psychiatrist and a published author. And so it was really important for me to take that part. I was very interested in accepting that, because that's what I wanted to show on television. You know, we play mother and daughter. We speak Spanish to each other, but she's a Texas Ranger and I'm a psychiatrist and a published author. So that for me is very positive and very cool. But so yeah, that's my career actually has always been different stages and in flux, and very fulfilling for me, but in different ways, at different levels, at different times in my life. And so right now, my focus was not about career actually at all. It was about how to keep my daughter from going out of her mind, and focused on school.
I'm going to a little bit put you on the spot. I mean,
Okay.
you've played all kinds of roles. I was just looking at your IMDb. I mean, what are some of the favorite characters, styles that you've really enjoyed? I don't want to spend too long on it, but there's got to be one or two roles that you like. Oh yeah, I feel like I nailed it.
Oh, I feel like I nailed it. I always try to do my best. I think um one of my favorites was probably Everybody Loves Raymond, where I played an Italian. I played Stefania Fogagnolo, the Italian gelato girl from Rome. That was also, it's all about where you are in your life. I had just come back from living in Italy. I was living in Italy for 2 years. I was modeling still, and I spoke Italian, and they were looking for an Italian girl. And um, it was so much fun for me to play an Italian on a show that was, at the time, that was the #1 show.
Oh yeah.
Everybody Loves Raymond was it. It was Everybody Loves Raymond and Friends. Everybody Loves Raymond and Friends, Um, and I did both, but I was recurring on Everybody Loves Raymond. I only did one episode of Friends. That was very fulfilling for me in that respect, but also because the show was so well written, and so there was so much respect on the show for everyone else, for the writing, for the acting. It was a quality show, and so I enjoyed that so much, and they enjoyed having me on there so much. It was That was a lot of fun. Yeah, I have to say that was just too much fun. Also, I would have to say telenovela that I did with Eva Longoria a few years ago. That was also just a blast from beginning to end. All we did was laugh our butts off all the time. But again, a lot of respect for the writing, a lot of respect for the acting. When it was time to do the work, we did the work. We wanted to get the funny, and that was the main focus. But we had a blast doing it too.
Well, I'm glad you brought that up, because off camera, I've told you before what a fanboy, if you will, I am of that television program. I'm still angry. There's a couple of shows that I'm still real angry. Like, oh, come on, really? You cancel this to do what?
I know.
And
It
that
happens
is
all
one
the
of
time.
them. And my favorite episode is when you played, the dual role of your sister. Really, honestly, I don't mean to embarrass you, but it really showcased your talents, your skill set, and it was
Well,
just
thank
such a
you.
wonderful show, and I really enjoyed it. But with that said, let's get into the lack of roles for Latinos and Latinas in Hollywood. We're coming off the announcement of the Oscars, and there were no Latinos.
There was nothing.
No
I thought there
Latinas.
was no one, but you told me that there's one. You told me that there was one person.
Again, how do you stay in an industry that, quite frankly, doesn't appreciate the talents of our community, our culture?
Well, that being said, it's even more important for me to stay in the industry, especially now that I'm older and I have more power and I have more powerful friends, and I can do something about it. I can produce shows. I'm producing a show right now. I'm in not production, but we are in the process of getting a show on the air. I'm producing it with Mark Canton, who does Power. He does all the Power shows. He's a big producer. He does like the 300 movies, huge blockbuster movies. So we are doing a show called Arena, about a basketball family, and I play the wife of the basketball owner, but I'm also the legal representation for the team. So it's very important for me to just not play wife. There's nothing wrong with just being a wife. It's the most important. Wife and mother are the most important things you can be, I think. But it was very important for me to also play an intelligent person. And so I'm developing that with these guys, with Justin Brewer and Mark Canton. And so that's why I stay in. I stay in for the next generation. I'm going to have my career. I'm always going to work. I'll do okay. I'll be fine. But I want to create a world that is friendlier than the world that I stepped into. So that is very important for me.
Wow. I think you put me in my place.
want to put you in your place, but actually I did. No, I didn't want to put you in your place. But
That was, I, we do that. I mean, again, not to elaborate on myself, but yeah, I made a commitment over 25 years ago. I wanted to promote positive images of our community.
and that's what you're doing. That's what this whole thing is.
Yeah.
You know, I mean,
to be able to
kudos
share
to you.
stories. Yeah. Your story.
Yeah, and you keep doing it. You keep doing it.
I want to talk a little bit. I know it was a tough year, but I know you're active in philanthropy and volunteering and participate. That had to take a little bit of a setback, but moving forward, what plans do you have to be, the great community citizen that you are?
Well, I'm still involved with Children's Hospital of Los Angeles. I'm on the board of trustees there, and I have been for 15 years. I took a back seat because I just had to concentrate on my daughter. That was it. But we're going to start having meetings again. Last thing I did, it was so strange. I did a fundraiser with Jimmy Choo in Beverly Hills for March Madness for Children's Hospital. And we raised a lot of money and it was so wonderful. And then like 2 weeks later, it was like COVID shut down. And I'll never forget that because we were planning something even bigger for the summer. I said, well, that's not, and I mean, there were so many things that were supposed to happen that didn't happen that can maybe start to happen again. Also, I'm in talks with, I don't know if I should mention it. I'm going to mention it. Don't hold me to it if it doesn't happen, with the Smithsonian about being on the board of trustees with the new museum for the Smithsonian, the new Latino museum for the Smithsonian.
Wow.
So that is very, very high on my list of being important to me, to my life, to the lives of the younger generation, to my daughter's life, to be an example for her. So that's what's happening. A lot's happening.
So you're a busy lady. So you've got Walker, you've got stuff.
And by the way, Walker shoots in Austin, Texas. So I'm taking my daughter with me, and now I can't. She's back in school. I'm sorry to interrupt you. Keep going. Keep talking.
No. These are the realities. I guess that's why I kind of have that question. Is it, picking up the pieces and moving forward? I mean, we got so comfortable with our lives of teaching our kids at home, and now my son, I don't know about your daughter, but my son's physically going to be going back to school next week. So there's just a whole little adjustment. Okay, now how are we going to schedule things? So I can relate.
Yeah, it's true. Stella started going back a few weeks ago for 1 day, and then it turned into 3 days, and now it's 4 days. And it's almost like, guys, one way or another, because she gets so flipped out about being there and then bringing the books home for remote. And so we're all adjusting and working together, and it's all going to work.
Final thoughts, and the last word goes to you.
What? Okay. Stay positive, stretch your body and meditate, because if you don't, you're going to get sick and your body's going to hurt. Don't think of yourself as a victim. I'm hearing that a lot. People are feeling down, and I get it because of everything, but glass is half full, not half empty. I want to say something original, but all the stuff that people have been saying forever, it just holds true now more than ever. It's not just a saying, it has to be a part of your reality. And you can follow me on Instagram at Real Alex Meneses. Also on Twitter at Real Alex Meneses. I'm not doing TikTok, even though I've been getting so many messages about requests for me to do TikTok. I'm so busy on social media, and I barely do any social media. It would take up my whole life. So dance and love your family.
Hey, I want to thank you so much for participating in our Latina conference and spending this beautiful Southern California sunny. It's got to be sunny where you are.
It's sunny today. Yeah.
So thank you, Alex.
Richard, thank you so much, and all the best to you, and good luck, and thank you for what you do.
You were one of our first Latinas of influence that we recognized in 2013, and this isn't really an anniversary per se, but one of the reasons why we recognized you way back when, it wasn't way back when, it was about 7 years ago, for your commitment to the community, your voice in the community. And I really want to know where this came from, this passion that you have to not only share your thoughts, but also back it up with a personal commitment.
Yeah, I'm in a really reflective stage in my life, and I've been reading journals from a long time ago, and I don't know if everybody's the same, but I really, at a young age, was looking for my purpose. I knew I was here for a purpose, and I was looking for it. And it took me a long time, and I was frustrated that it seemed to be always a question mark in front of me. I would have a job, and then I would move to another job, and it was like, what is life about? And I do think all of this comes from my parents. My parents, we lived in Mexico. We sort of adopted an orphanage and would go every Saturday over there. That's how I grew up. I grew up going to an orphanage every Saturday, spending my Christmases with the orphan girls, and they became my friends. They would actually come to our house. And so that's how I grew up, knowing what a difference good people can have in strangers' lives. So I knew that power, and it was just finding where I would go. And I will say that when I first came to the United States, even though I did have my citizenship because my parents were U.S. citizens, I did feel like the other, and I lost my voice. It took me a long time to find my voice. And as you know, I worked with Alex Nogales, a great advocate and activist, and I learned a lot about speaking up and speaking up, to the powerful people. And I'm just grateful for all the people that I have met, where I have learned how to speak up. We have to speak up, and when we're one of the few around the table, you definitely have to speak up.
Now, as the head of a nonprofit organization, can you kind of talk about and be a little reflective of when COVID and the restrictions became real to you and the organization, and how important it is for you to pick up those pieces and move forward?
Yeah, last year I was still working at Cal State Fullerton when we went on lockdown, and as I was working with college students, and what I saw is college students that had been working so hard for more than 4 years, some of them, to get their degree, to hear that the graduation was canceled. I actually wrote an article about that huge loss. It's not just deaths, it's all the different celebrations. And for first generation college students, graduating is a huge deal, not only for them, but for their families. So seeing their devastation was hard, because I think it was like definitely a heartbreak. And then not only that, you graduate and you can't find a job. It was already hard for them to find a job, because the first job is very hard to find. But definitely they weren't able to find anything when everybody was losing jobs and not hiring. And so I saw all of that, and it broke my heart. And there was nothing to do at that time. And then I was living in San Diego, so I was looking for a job here, and I'm so happy how it ended up that the executive director, Sofia Salgado, moved on to another job, and so I applied and got this. And you are right, it's all about like picking up the pieces, and I'm a very positive person. The glass is halfway full for me. And I do think that as a leader, you have to show hope and share hope. And so even though I know what the college students went through, we work with the young people at MANA. And so we want to make sure that they have hope, that they know they have a whole community backing them up. And so we're working on advocating for them to employers. We're going to top employers and saying, we have talent. And this is the same thing I did at Cal State Fullerton. You know, it's the same formula. It's not rocket science. It's like, look for top employers and connect them to talent. So that's what we're doing with the hermanitas and the tias, but then also we have great leaders, and encouraging them and providing them the tools. We have a leadership program so that they reach high, they apply for boards and commissions. We're kind of changing the landscape of San Diego. You see more Latina leaders. Mary Salas is the mayor of Chula Vista. She's one of our past presidents. The new supervisor, Nora Vargas, she's the first Latina to serve as the county board of supervisor. And she also credits Mana for giving her her first board opportunity. She served on our board. So it's just giving hope. That's very important right now. People need hope and not just talk, right? I mean, it's like we have to have a plan with an action and start picking up the pieces, like you said. You know, one more thing that I want to say is we had a press event in December where we talked about how Latinas have been negatively impacted in San Diego by COVID. Latinas predominantly choose 3 sectors of work, which is tourism, retail, and education. And those are the 3 sectors that have been hardest hit by COVID. So a new conversation we're having at Mana is, let's find other jobs. They don't have to go to those jobs. There's other jobs. I just had a meeting with the Electrician Trade Association, and they're telling me about all, you know, how much a journeyman gets paid. And so we just want to offer more options to Latinas so that there's upward social mobility, so that they see a pathway to great careers, whatever they choose.
You just referred to this several times in the back, being able to pick up the phone, send an email, and start connecting people. Where does that come from? And how do you, what kind of advice, if you will, give to people that are not comfortable in that environment and obviously really do need to connect to other people outside their personal and professional network?
Yeah, so there's no doubt I'm a connector. And when I read The Tipping Point, Malcolm Gladwell talks about different types of people. And when I read The Connector, I'm like, oh my goodness, I'm a connector. And I didn't even know that I was a connector. And now knowing that, it just makes me aware. And so I think there's 2 things you said. One is connecting and one is networking. I'm definitely a connector. I know a lot of people, and I don't hesitate to connect people to other people. And that's my job, just connecting them, and then they do whatever. Maybe, you know, I have a gut feeling sometimes like, oh, I should connect these 2 people. And I just send an email, and I probably have done that to you and to so many people. And it's up to them. It's up to them to do it or not do it. And if they miss the opportunity, you know, that's not my responsibility. So I do that. It's so quickly to just go, hey, intro, I think you should meet. And people that know me, if they get that email, they know you should act and do something. But the other thing is networking. It is so important to network. And I will say that I just got better at it throughout the years, and you just have to do it to succeed, and you have to connect. You can't be afraid of strangers. And I know there's introverts, and it's harder for them. I'm going to tell you, I think I'm becoming an introvert now. I actually don't enjoy that much going to like big events, but I can do it. I can go there and I can meet people, but it's just essential. And I think if we can break it down to more of a connecting to another human being and not making it for introverts, if they have difficulty networking, if you can just see a human there and be curious and say, I want to introduce myself and I want to know more about you. There are some rude people out there that go to events and are not interested in meeting new people if they don't know who you are. And you just let those people go away, right? But I think it is very important, especially for young people, to go to events in their professional area so that they can meet and connect with other people in their profession. Very important skill.
During the time I've known you, you've been in the quasi nonprofit, even the education part was still a little nonprofit, if you will. Why do you continue to go down that path, knowing all the obstacles that come with that? Again, I mentioned raising money, finding staff, fulfilling a mission. What is it that keeps you driving your path down this road?
Yeah, I was never a person that had like a 5-year plan. I just lived my life this way of like just going with the flow. I am a very spiritual person and I was looking for my purpose also. But I will say that, my first jobs, it was just like, where can I find a job, right? And then if I was happy, I stayed. And so I worked in government. And then I will say, after working for the transit agency here in San Diego for 8 years, I was looking for a change. And I said, I want to work for a Fortune 500 company. I just want to do that. And I did that for a year. I worked for a Fortune 500 company and hated it. And so I tried it and I was like, oh no, this is not for me. That company, I just felt like I was a number. I wasn't a person. It was so huge that I was just an analyst. And so I am happy that I have found the nonprofit work. I worked at the National Hispanic Media Coalition, and I learned a lot about the important role that a nonprofit plays in our society. So I see that we have like maybe four areas, big areas. You have corporate America, you have government, you have philanthropy, and then you have nonprofit. And those four, and I might be missing something, but those four are very important. And nonprofit is just very important because nonprofit is supposed to fill the gaps that government cannot fill. And more government is not filling the gaps. And so nonprofit fills such important gaps that our society needs, advocates for the public. You have lobbyists advocating for corporate America. You need that. And so I have learned a lot. I went through the Women's Policy Institute. I learned a lot about the important role that nonprofits have in advocacy. Some people are confused. They think that nonprofits, if you don't have the right designation, you can't lobby. That's incorrect. You are supposed to advocate for the public. And like I said before, I'm happy to have found my voice on behalf of the community.
I want to give you the final word here. It sounds like you've been giving some advice along, but maybe some other words of wisdom moving forward. Talk about your organization that you are MANA San Diego. Talk about its mission.
Great. Thank you for letting me talk about MANA. I should have done that before. So MANA is a local chapter of a national organization. There's chapters all around the nation. We are the largest. We're celebrating 35 years. It's really an amazing San Diego story of local women wanting to make a difference, wanting to connect, and also wanting to make a difference. And I'm just so grateful for all the women that throughout the years have just made us bigger and better. And now, we used to not have any staff. Now we have 5 staff. We have 4 programs. We have the Hermanita program, which is a one-on-one mentoring program, starts in 7th grade to 12th grade. We want to make sure that girls develop leadership skills and go to college. We have the Tias program. It's a newer program. We follow the college students so that they graduate. We send the volunteers and care packages and notes of support, because we know that enrolling in college is one thing, but graduating is a different thing. So we do that. So we really are not like a program that you participate in a year and then we disappear. We don't disappear. We have stayed there for some of the volunteers since they were in 7th grade. We have volunteers now that talk about that story. Then we have the Leadership Success program, a partnership with the Center for Creative Leadership, a top global internship program. And we've graduated 250 women. They're already doing great in their careers, but we want to encourage them to reach higher and really find their leadership place in San Diego or somewhere else. And then scholarships. Every year we give scholarships to women that are pursuing their higher education. Last year we gave $31,000. This year we received over 100 applications, so we'll see how many we can support. So I am just so excited to be part of a community that's in action, doing something for the good of other people. And I think that the key to being happy in this life is to be part of a community and to do good. I really think that we need to do more. And if we learned anything in COVID is our actions impact others. And so we have to learn that lesson. And you know, I hope that we learned to be less selfish.
Well, thank you so much for your time and spending it with our Latina conference. And it doesn't seem like 2013 was as long as it was ago. So thanks again.
Thank you, Richard, for everything that you do. You do amazing work in highlighting so many women, and I'm really grateful for the work that you do. You're a champion. Thank you.
Thank you.
En tiempos como este, los dueños de negocios pequeños pueden contar con KTNQ y Posible LA para mantener su negocio vivo y seguir adelante. Sintoniza de lunes a viernes a las 12 del mediodía Posible Radio con la periodista Liliana García. Liliana toma asuntos de interés actual con expertos que nos dan una guía personal y directa a dueños de empresas pequeñas. Ahora más que nunca, Posible Radio a las 12 del mediodía por KTNQ 1020 AM.
Hi, my name is Delia Hauser. I am owner of Rumba Room Live in Anaheim and a nightclub that's been around for many, many years that I enjoy thoroughly, the entertainment business. I've done it all my life, so it's something that I know. And my husband always said, you know what, do what you know and you'll do it well. So that's what I've done. So that's me.
Give me just a little background, if you will, about the Rumba Room, Rumba Room Live, and then I'll follow up with the first question. But just give me a brief background of the nightclub, if you will.
Rumba Room Live was open in the year 2000 in Universal City Walk by my husband. He had, I think it was 2 partners at the time, and it was just an investment for him. He was in the entertainment business, concert promoter, and he opened it up in 2000, not really too involved with it. He just would go once in a while and, you know, am I making any money kind of thing. And when my husband passed away in 2003, I was pushed into ownership of this nightclub. He had previously bought out his other partners, so he was full owner. I was pushed into this. I thought, you know, I'm a stay-at-home mom. I have 6 children, my youngest being 5 months old when my husband passed away. And I thought, you know, I'm going to put it for sale. I don't know nothing about the nightclub business. And so I started going. It was about 2005. I started visiting the venue and, you know, getting to know everybody that had worked there. And I liked it. It was something for me to do. And, you know, my kids were getting older and I thought, you know, I kind of like this. Maybe I won't put it for sale. I got into it and learned the business. And in 2011, my lease was up, closed that. And it took me a while to find another location, but Anaheim Garden Walk seemed like a great location for me, closer to my home. Took me a couple of years to get it off the ground. So in 2016, in December 2016, I opened the new Rumba Room, which is Rumba Room Live.
I've heard this story before and it's amazing. And the fact that we recognized you a few years back with the Survive and Thrive Award,
Mhm.
because that's what this is. And who would have ever thought that we would fast forward to 2020, owning a nightclub, being in the entertainment industry. Talk a little bit about when you found out that you were going to have to close down, coping with all of that and adjusting and somehow making the decision to keep the business going.
Well, in March 14th was the last day that we were open of 2020. Just hit us like a ton of bricks. We heard about this virus. We never in a million years thought that businesses would have to close, ever. We closed hoping that it would be temporary. And as the months went by, and there was never a thought in my mind about closing. I put my heart and soul into this. I'm solo ownership. Of course, I have a wonderful team behind me that has helped me so much. But I never in a million years, expected this to happen. But I also knew in my heart that no, I'm not closing. I put too much work into this to let it go. And luckily, our landlords worked with us, and the months went by and and it was very, very, very difficult. Of course, the bills are still there. You have to pay bills. You have to, keep the place. I thought, you know what? This is the time to renovate. This is the time to paint. This is the time to clean. This is the time to do any upgrades we want to do. So that's what we did. And like I said, our landlords were gracious enough to, okay, you don't have to pay rent. You can stay there. All my team, my core team has been by my side the whole time. And they said, we're not giving up on you. We're not going to let you go. We're not moving on. We're going to stay with you. So that helped me a lot too, because I had my core management team with me and my family as well. A couple of my daughters worked there, and they were like, no, Mom, you worked too hard for this. So here we are a year later, and opening up next week again. So it's been a wild ride. But yeah, we're at this point now where it's good.
I want to ask you, the underlying theme of our 2021 Latina conference is picking up the pieces and moving forward. So give me some specifics about picking up the pieces and moving forward. You mentioned that you're opening up next week. Mm-hmm. What can we expect that's going to be different that you're going to be offering your guests after your reopening?
Well, it's going to be a little different. Of course, our capacity has been slashed. So we are opening up more as a lounge. So we are, we're going to have food. We have a food component now. We built a little kitchen behind our bar, and we're going to have food along with, the VIP service that we usually host. And, but a lot less capacity. So with food. Yeah.
Why do you stay in the entertainment industry? And the more I think about it, your venue, the industry you're in, touches so many. I'm sure you've introduced or the launching pad over the years for many of the entertainers that we know and listen to. I was going to say on the radio, but of course we listen to them over there now. But talk a little bit about that, why you stay in the entertainment industry, and talk about some of the lives that you've had the pleasure of connecting with and helping them develop their careers.
The entertainment business is all I know. That's all I know. That's all I've ever done. That's all my husband, when he was alive, that's what he did. And we were married for 18 years, and that's all I know. That's all I know is the entertainment business. He was a concert promoter, and to get off up off the ground. You know, I helped him at the very beginning when we first were married. He didn't know any Spanish, so I was a Spanish teacher. And I introduced him kind of like the entertainers in the Latin, pretty much Mexican, regional Mexican entertainers. So that's from 1984 to now. That's all I know. So that's why I stay in it. I love it. It's part of me. It's part of my children. My children grew up with it. It's just been, you know, I've kept in touch with a lot of the entertainers that my husband worked with. Of course, a lot of them have passed, unfortunately, but a lot of them I still keep in touch with. We have great relationships. You know, some have come to the Rumba Room, some have performed. It's just something that I really enjoy. My family enjoys, and I'm going to do this till I die.
You do. Your story has inspired me. I know it inspires other women. I don't know where you know, get what it is that possesses you to get up every morning and take on the day. And if you would, if you feel comfortable, share with us where you get that from, and give us some words of inspiration and your final thoughts.
You know, I think just my husband, the way he was, you know, he loved his work. He got up every day, and you know, he just, I think I got it from him, actually. Just how he was so motivated and so loving his work, and you know, I didn't have a choice, really. You know, I had to pick up the pieces and get moving. I mean, I could have probably just, you know, stayed here in my home and take care of my kids, but I knew I had to do more, and I wanted to inspire my daughters, you know, and my sons, of course, and my sons. You know, the younger two grew up. Well, my younger three children really don't remember their father very much, but I wanted to be somebody that they can look up to and inspire them. You know, hey, mom could have, you know, just gone off and, you know, done nothing, but you know, I wanted them to see me, and you know, I get up every day. I get up, and it's for my kids. It's for my kids and my grandkids now. You know, I want to inspire them to, you know, just be whatever they want to be. You really can, and I think I've proven that. It's like, you know, to build a nightclub from the bottom up, you know, by myself, has been something that I'm proud of, and my family's proud of, and I hope they continue, you know, to take on, you know, what I have built. So, you know, it's for them. It's for them.
What is it you learned from this experience that you really, as a business owner, gosh, if we were a collective counseling group, what would you tell them?
Oh gosh, I would say, you know, I mean, how many people have said this? Don't give up. It's just, don't give up. It's, you know, you have to keep going and keep going. And like I said, I have a great team behind me that has helped me. Without them, I don't really think, to have their support, I don't think I could have really done it without them. But it's just been, I've learned so much in this last year. I've learned so much. And, you know, I just, giving up was not an option for me. I couldn't. And I just say, don't take no for an answer. That's me. I don't take no for an answer. It's like, no, I am going to keep going, and I'm going to keep pushing forward. And, you know, it just, and it's paid off, and it's paid off. That's what I could tell other women. It's hard because even this entertainment business is very difficult for a woman. But, you know, you just can't take no for an answer. You just have to just keep going and full force.
Well, thank you so much, Delia, for participating in our 2021 Latina conference. You are always a pleasure and insightful interview for us.
Thank you so much for considering me. And if there's anything I could do on my end to help you, Rumba Room's there for you.
friends at Mr. Tortilla just made tacos healthy.
I'm going to jump right into it. You guys have a name change. I've known you as Excelsior, and talk about the name change and and share with me, is the mission changing at all?
No, the mission is not changing. We actually want to expand our reach and really help more entrepreneurs. The name change about when we realized that access and community are a big part of what we do. And so you'll see the name being Accessity, which is a combination of both access to capital and also a community of resources that entrepreneurs need to succeed. So you'll see in our logo that between access and community, or ITY, the I has a little different color to it because that's the entrepreneur between those two things that we provide.
And how it is different.
So there's a lot of great organizations out there. I mean, CDFIs, which is Community Development Financial Institution, are particularly focused on underserved communities. And there's a lot of them across the country, and each one of them could have different sort of mission and target markets depending on what they do. Here at Acción, we serve underserved communities in San Diego, Riverside, Imperial and Riverside, and in San Bernardino County. And so our focus is to really focus on low to moderate income entrepreneurs and ethnic minority entrepreneurs. What's different is that, those underserved communities sometimes lack the resources they need to really succeed and get to that next level as a community. It's difficult to either get access to capital or to find resources to get you to that level. There's a lot of informal businesses that need a lot of technical assistance to be able to get proper financial record keeping, to get into traditional financing opportunities. And so that mix of being able to help them with technical assistance through our community partners, and also the access to capital with more streamlined and flexible lending guidelines, is a good combination to be able to really serve that community well.
I just want to be clear. Are these grants? Are they loans that people have to pay back? Describe the type of services that you're actually offering.
Yeah, so we do offer loans. And so these are structured in a way that they do have to be paid back. What's happening right now with COVID is that we're working with a lot of different programs that are offering pretty subsidized interest rates for COVID relief specifically. And so there's an opportunity right now to get access to capital for really, really low interest rates and structured in a way that's friendly to the entrepreneur. So let me give you an example. So we're working actually with Wells Fargo and the Open for Business Fund. And that's a great program because it really targets the smallest entrepreneurs. And the reason that's important is because sometimes, as I mentioned, the smaller entrepreneurs don't qualify for some of the federal programs. Either they're because they're sole proprietors with one business owner. That's the livelihood of the business owner, or sometimes the documentation that they have isn't sufficient for the program. And so they get left out of those programs that are very helpful for entrepreneurs. And so programs like ours are able to really, really assist the entrepreneurs that are getting left behind in those federal programs. And for example, they're structured in a way where the interest rate is low. So for Wells Fargo, it's a 2.99 interest rate over 4 to 5 years. And the way it's structured is that there is actually no payments on the loan for the first 6 months. So essentially, the entrepreneur gets the access to the capital that they need immediately, but don't have to turn around and pay it back right away in order to preserve cash flow and really get to the end of the pandemic, hopefully, and be able to bridge that gap into a more stabilized cash flow situation.
Are you optimistic about the future of our Southern California economy?
I am, and for a couple of different reasons. Is I've seen firsthand how resourceful entrepreneurs are, and I, working with them throughout my career, I knew that that entrepreneurs are a different sort of have a different sort of mindset of survival and success. But I've never seen it like the way that it's come through COVID. I mean, we have entrepreneurs that pivot, that offer new services, that offer alternative services through technology. And they did whatever they needed to survive. And obviously, you know, with stimulus help and also with programs like ours, you know, we could bridge that gap. But the entrepreneurs were just amazing in pivoting and doing what they needed to do. And so that piece of it makes me optimistic, because, you know, if things do get back to normal, and I hope they do get back to normal soon, they'll have a whole new skill set and possibly a whole new revenue stream that they never thought about before, along with some normalcy of the past that could potentially catapult them to better revenues and a larger business and hopefully new jobs. You know, we also are seeing a lot of activity out in the communities. I mean, when we go out here in San Diego County, you could see a lot more activity in the streets. There's people visiting more stores, visiting more restaurants. And I think as vaccination rolls out and you know, we get to see some normalcy, hopefully by the end of summer, then I think we'll be able to get to a point where entrepreneurs are able to work in a normal capacity, or as much as normal as we can be given the circumstances.
How do I get a hold of you? Give me something that you're comfortable with sharing, of course. And is there a new website, contact information? How do I get more information on your organization and your programs? Yeah, so we actually just launched our new website, which is accessity.org. So that's ACCESSITY.org. So you can reach us there. You could apply for a loan at that website. You could also contact us through that website. You could also send us an email at info@accessity.org if you need some assistance or have questions. And you could also reach out to us at 619-795-7250, and we could connect you with the right person for your specific question or need. Hey, thanks for spending some time with me today, Robert. Thank you so much, and thank you for having me.
Ladies and gentlemen, representing Hispanic Lifestyle, Miss Gabriela Sandoval.
Hey Mom, do you know what time it is?
Yes, Nicholas, it's time to introduce Hispanic Lifestyle's 2021 Latinas of Influence. Congratulations to all of this year's honorees.
Friends and colleagues, it is our pleasure to share with you Hispanic Lifestyle's 2021 Latinas of Influence. Alejandra Delgado, Vice President Operations, Mr. Tortilla.
What I do here is I oversee the day-to-day operations alongside with Ronald Alcazar, who is the COO of Mr. Tortilla.
Claudia Romo Edelman, Founder and Executive Chairwoman, We Are All Human.
I'm the founder of the We Are All Human Foundation, an organization devoted to advancing diversity and inclusion as a means to achieving equity.
Dawn Page, Entertainment Publicist, Multicultural Marketing, NBC Universal Telemundo Enterprises.
Media and entertainment are my passion. I've been working for the industry for almost 2 decades. I started as a news producer, as an entertainment reporter. I actually worked for La Opinión, the most established Spanish daily in the US.
Denise Gutierrez, President and CEO, California Council on Economic Education.
And mandating and changing policy to require economics before you graduate from high school. One thing we haven't been able to get to is making sure that students are also be required to take personal finance classes. So right now, 25 states requires economics and 21 states requires personal finance.
Dr. Denise Payan, Deputy Director, California Initiative for Health Equity in Action.
Also the Deputy Director of CalIHEA, which is a statewide translation center that promotes the use of research in policy decision-making here in California.
Elaine Torres, Community Affairs Director, CBS 4, KCNC TV.
I've actually been at CBS 4 for 20 years. I actually celebrated my 20th anniversary in January, which is very exciting. Viacom CBS is a fantastic company to work for, and I'm just thrilled and honored that I'm still here after 20 years.
Gabriela Tagliavini, Director, Writer, DGA, WGA. Heidi Marshall, Director, Riverside County's Housing, Homelessness Prevention and Workforce Solutions Department.
And I am indeed very lucky to be a director of the Department of Housing, Homelessness Prevention and Workforce Solutions here at the County of Riverside.
Liliana Garcia, journalist, anchor and producer, Univision's Posible Radio.
I am the producer and host of Posible, which is a business and economic platform for Univision. I'm originally from Mexico.
Lynette Romero, reporter, anchor, KTLA 5.
How I start my day bright and early, usually before the sun comes up. And I do early morning live shots for the KTLA Morning News. And then I anchor the weekend morning news, the #1 rated KTLA Weekend Morning News. I've been doing that show for many years.
Margie Rodriguez, grassroots community leader.
Originally from Blythe, California, we moved to Delano, California, because my brother married Cesar Chavez's wife's sister. So that's why we ended up in Delano.
Mirtada Salinas, head of news and national anchor, Estrella Media.
Raised and born in Mexico, and I came to the US when I was about 17, 18 years old. I always wanted to be a journalist. I always wanted to be on the communications side of TV.
Nina Huerta, managing partner, Lock Lord.
I am the managing partner of the firm in Los Angeles. I practice labor and employment litigation, and I specialize in independent contractor misclassification disputes. I've been at my firm doing the same practice for 17 years.
Pamela Arteaga, Global Marketing Manager, Cadillac, General Motors.
I have experience to work with Cadillac in Mexico and also Buick and GMC as a marketing manager. And now I'm a marketing manager for global. So that means that I foresee and help our markets, international markets, to align to our strategy.
Paula Garces, actress, producer, and entrepreneur. Rachel Matos, CEO, CMO, Blue Lotus Collective, and My Cajita.
I started in digital marketing in like 2010, 2011 in the influencer marketing space, connecting mostly Latina influencers with brands. And then a few years ago, I opened up a digital marketing agency in 2017.
Rita Gallardo Good, MPA, Director of Civic Affairs, Sacramento State in the Office of Public Affairs and Advocacy.
My career starts and my passion is with local government. Started my career in the southeast area of Los Angeles, city of Southgate, and progressed into the city of Santa Ana, where I was a city clerk. And in 2010, I transitioned to the California State Capitol, where I worked for then Senator Alex Padilla.
Rodri Rodriguez, visionary cultural arts advocate, Rodri Entertainment Group.
I'm still producing Mariachi USA. Started producing that 1990 and producing shows since 1976. Richard, oh my God.
Sandra Campos, Chief Executive Officer, Project Verte.
From a career standpoint, it has fully been in retail and fashion. And I've been in the industry now for 30 years. Can't believe I'm saying that, but it is true. I grew up in Texas. I am a first generation Mexican American my parents are both from Mexico.
My name is Vanessa Marrero. I am the Senior Director for Educational Results Partnership. And our focus is on data science and really closing the opportunity gaps that we see in California as well as in other states.
Zoila Escobar, SVP and Chief Administration Officer, Altamed Health Services. Congratulations to Hispanic Lifestyles 2021 Latinas of Influence. Remember, the full listing of our Latinas of Influence can be found on HispanicLifestyle.com.
Congratulations to all the Latinas of Influence. As a fellow Latina of Influence, it is a pleasure to welcome you to this very special club. We all are trying very hard to do the right thing and being advocates in our community during this pandemic. I'm Helen Torres, the Executive Director and CEO of HOPE, Hispanas Organized for Political Equality, and I'm here to invite all of you to please participate in our upcoming policy conference called Latina Action Day Sacramento from April 26th to the 28th between 9 a.m. to 10:45 if you take less than 2 hours of your day for 3 days to ensure our politicians in Sacramento and fellow Latinas hear your voice, your story, and we can learn from each other of how we can ensure California is on a road to recovery, make sure our state of education and our children are doing well, and that Latina representation matters. All three subject areas will be covered, and we really hope that you'll join us once again for Latina Action Day Sacramento, April 26th to the 28th. Register by going on HOPE's website, latinas.org. Look forward to seeing you all soon, and congratulations to all the Latinas who are participating today.
Hello, I'm Tina Covington, Vice President of Sales and Business Development for Altura Credit Union. We are a proud sponsor of the Latina Conference, and we'd like to congratulate all the honorees today.
We hope you have enjoyed this edition of Hispanic Lifestyles Latina Conference 2021. I'm excited to share with you a couple of updates. First, starting next week, we will debut our online series, Hispanic Lifestyles, Conversations with Latinas of Influence. Our first guest will be director Gabriela Tagliavini and actress Paula Garces. Our next event is BizCon 2021, featuring executives of influence and businesses that are surviving to thrive. It is scheduled for June 16th, 2021, right here on HispanicLifestyle.com. Thank you again to our sponsors for supporting our efforts to promote positive images of our community. Stay safe, and we will see you soon.